the blizzard had swallowed. The town long before the cowboy even realized he was caught in it. Snow spiraled like angry ghosts across the main street of Red Hollow, beating against his coat and stinging his cheeks as he pushed forward, head down, boots sinking into freezing mud. The wind screamed, so loud it drowned out even the horses stamping nervously beside the mercantile. He planned only to buy feed and maybe a hot drink before returning to his cabin, miles out of town, but fate had other ideas. Through the white swirl he saw movement, small shapes stumbling, swaying, clustering together desperately. At first he thought they were stray animals lost in the storm. But then one of the shapes cried out, a thin, terrified wail that shot straight through. The wind like a bullet. Children, 6 of them, tiny trembling figures in clothes far too thin for weather this vicious. Their faces were red and raw, their little fingers stiff from the cold as they clung to one another, and behind them, half hidden by the blizzard, stood a woman. The cowboy saw her too late to stop it. She took one final step, one final breath, and then she collapsed, face forward into the frozen earth without even lifting her hands to break the fall. The children screamed as they rushed to her side, their cries cracking with panic and helplessness. Something inside the cowboy snapped like a rope under too much weight. He dropped to his knees beside her, brushing snow from her face, trying to see if she breathed. Her skin was ice, her lips pale, and her eyelids fluttered with the last flickers of consciousness. The oldest child, a boy no more than 10, grabbed the cowboy's arm and cried, "Mister, please, help Mama!" That voice, raw, shattered, and pleading, lit a fire inside him that no blizzard could ever extinguish. He lifted her head gently, noticing the exhaustion etched into her features, the kind that came from days of struggle, not hours. "Hang on," he whispered. "You've come too far to give up now." He looked at the children, 6 pairs of terrified eyes staring at him as though he were their only hope left on earth. And maybe he was. He shouted for blankets, help, anything, but the storm swallowed his voice whole. Townsfolk began to gather, their silhouettes forming shaky outlines through the snow. Some gasped, others whispered, but none moved fast enough. The cowboy growled with frustration, scooped the woman into his arms, and motioned for the children to stay close. He knew he had to get them out of the cold fast. He carried her through the snow toward the saloon, the warmest public place still open in the storm. The children followed in a huddled cluster, crying and tripping but refusing to let go of one another. Inside, the warmth hit them like a wave. The cowboy laid the mother near the fire, shouting for hot water and blankets as people rushed toward them. The children collapsed beside her, some clutching her hands, others burying their faces into her dress as if trying to wake her through sheer willpower. The cowboy hovered protectively over them, his jaw clenched, his eyes burning with a fury that demanded answers. Who were they? Why were they alone? What happened to drive a mother and 6 children into a blizzard that could kill even the strongest men? As a doctor finally pushed through the crowd, kneeling beside the collapsing mother, the cowboy felt something strange stir inside him, something he hadn't felt in years: responsibility, purpose, and a fierce determination to see this woman and her children live to see another sunrise. Whatever story lay behind their suffering, whatever danger or hardship had brought them here, he knew one thing for certain: their fight was now his fight. And nothing, not even the worst storm the West had ever seen, was going to take them away. If you're deeply moved by what you're hearing so far, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because this story is just getting started, and you won't want to miss what comes next. The fire crackled loudly in the saloon as the storm raged outside, but the warmth did little to quiet the frantic beating of the cowboy's heart. He knelt beside the mother while the doctor checked her pulse and breathing, his mind racing faster than the blizzard winds. The 6 children clung to each other on the floor, their eyes fixed on the woman who had sacrificed everything just to bring them this far. Slowly, painfully, she began to stir. Her eyelids fluttered, then opened halfway, revealing exhaustion so deep it seemed carved into her soul. The cowboy leaned toward her, offering a reassuring nod. "You're safe now," he said softly, his voice weighted with a promise he hadn't yet fully formed. She blinked up at him, searching his face as though trying to decide whether he was real or simply a dream brought on by desperation. Her lips parted, releasing a dry whisper. "My children, are they alive?" The cowboy stepped back, allowing her to see the 6 little ones curled together, watching her with breathless hope. The moment her eyes found them, they broke into sobs, scrambling to her side. Tiny hands clutched her arms, her clothing, her hair, anything they could reach, as if terrified she would disappear again. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she pulled them close, her voice trembling. "I'm here. Mama's here." The doctor hovered behind them, shaking his head slightly. "She's exhausted, half frozen, but alive. They all are, thanks to you." The cowboy didn't answer. His gaze drifted between the woman and her children, a knot tightening in his chest. Once the doctor stepped away, the woman lifted her eyes toward the cowboy again. "We walked for 3 days," she whispered, shivering beneath the blankets. I thought I could make it to my sister's, but the storm..." Her words broke. The oldest boy, Caleb, took over, standing proudly though his voice trembled. "We kept telling Mama to rest, but she wouldn't stop. She said we had to keep going." The cowboy's jaw tightened. These children had endured more than most grown men ever would. "Where's your husband?" he asked gently. The mother closed her eyes, tears slipping free again. Caleb answered for her. "Gone. Bandits burned our home." A shockwave ran through the saloon. People murmured, gasped, covered their mouths. The cowboy felt something inside him harden into steel. The West was a harsh land, but this was cruelty no family deserved. The mother continued, her voice barely audible. "I didn't know where else to go. I just wanted to keep them safe." Her words dissolved into sobs she could no longer hold back. The cowboy wanted to reach for her, to offer comfort he didn't know how to give. Instead, he said the only thing that felt right. "You're not alone anymore." She looked up, confused. The children turned too, their faces streaked with tears. The cowboy stood tall, his voice firm. "You and your kids can stay in my cabin until you're strong enough to decide what comes next. I've got room, food, firewood, and no bandits. No storms is going to hurt you again." Silence filled the saloon, warm and heavy. Hope shimmered in 6 pairs of young eyes. The mother stared at him, disbelief giving way to relief so deep she nearly collapsed again. "Why would you do this? For strangers?" she whispered. The cowboy removed his hat, revealing the grief etched into his own weathered features. "Because once
I had a family I couldn't save."
and I won't let that happen again." The storm howled outside, but inside the saloon, something stronger rose, courage, unity, a promise that tomorrow might still hold light. As the cowboy helped the mother to her feet and gathered the children close, the townsfolk watched with softened hearts. In a world filled with hardship, a single act of compassion still had the power to change fate. And for this family, the cowboy's promise was the beginning of a new chapter, one forged in fire, frost, and the unshakable belief that no one deserves to face the storm alone. If this story touched your heart, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss powerful stories like this. Your support helps bring more life-changing tales to the world, so subscribe now and stay with us for more unforgettable journeys.